Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. Today is June 19th. The Pirates avoided a loss last night thanks to Mother Nature. The Scooble game has been postponed back a day to today, or forward a day, I guess. Today they'll play two. Pirates versus Targ Scooble did not happen yesterday. It will happen today. There's a doubleheader. Now there's a game at 1:10 and then another game at 5:40. The Pirates just moved Andrew Heaney to the early game, the first game to be played, as they would have anyway. And Paul Skeens will pitch the second game. The Pirates did tweet that out. They made it known to the public that Skeens will pitch game 2 and that Heaney will pitch game 1. The Tigers, on the other hand, have not tweeted anything about it. I mean, other than the fact that the game will be played and when it will be played and all that stuff. But their starter for the 1:10 game on Thursday, today, originally was TBD. So, what would you do? You're the Tigers. You know you got Skeens going the second game. Everybody's pitching on the same day anyway. Could the Tigers decide to pitch Scooble in the Skeens game and then possibly have a matchup of what many believe, myself included, to be the best two pitchers in baseball right now? I mean, you're talking about MLB Network probably picking this game up to show, and a lot of eyes on Skeens versus Scooble. It would be awesome to see the two. I talked about this earlier in the week, how exciting it would be if they were to face each other and it didn't line up. But now here we are, thanks to a big storm, faced with a possibility of those two. Now, by the time you listen to this, maybe they've already made an announcement and it's not going to happen, or it is going to happen. So I'm not going to talk about this too much and dwell on it, because then it'd be pointless. If you've already heard that, it'd be absolutely pointless. So there's no point. If you are listening to this before the game, good morning.
Yeah, it is a good morning there, little man.
And if you're listening to it after the games, then you've already heard it all. But I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff that's going to be relevant anyway, instead of just talking about the upcoming doubleheader. That way, if you are listening to this later or during the games or something, there is still something to take away from it. Because as you know, if you've listened to any other show this week, I went to Columbus again to see Indianapolis, and this time it was Hunter Barco. So let's go ahead and talk about what I'm seeing in AAA right now. Hunter Barco, obviously, a guy that you guys are probably familiar with the name, started off in AA this year and pitched however many innings he pitched. I actually can look at it real quick. In Altoona, he threw 25 2/3 innings without giving up a run. That was in 6 games started. He did not give up a run. And then they moved him up to AAA. So far in AAA, he has started 6 games, I believe. And, it's not necessarily June. What is today? So yesterday. So yeah, he obviously gave up a run in his first game in Indianapolis, and then a couple runs, and then another bad start happened on June 6th. But then his last outing was good. He gave up a run, but 5 innings. He's not going to continue to not give up any runs, right? Anyway, Hunter Barco has been really exciting. Number 5 prospect for the Pirates right now. Got to watch Bubba Chandler pitch a couple of days ago. And then Thomas Harrington, the number 3 prospect. Bubba's number 1, number 2 in all of baseball. And the number 3 prospect for the Pirates, Thomas Harrington, who is, does it say on here? I'm not seeing. He's on the Pirates top 30, but he's a top 100 as well. Harrington pitches Friday night. I'm planning on going back Friday night. That was
Friday
night. And so excited to see Harrington again, but Hunter Barco is a guy I haven't seen yet. And obviously with the start that he's had, pretty excited to see Hunter Barco tonight or last night. Remind myself, last night. So let's talk Hunter Barco first. Did not have it early on. And I'll walk you through because rain shortened this game as well. We were only there for 3 innings. We took off after the storm had rolled through. We had our kids with us, and so we decided it was past 8:30. Let's just head home. If we were going to stick around, wait to see if they were going to play it, if they were going to play it, how long were we going to stay anyway? Hunter Barco's probably out of this game no matter what at this point. And so we decided, let's take off. And then they ended up canceling the game anyway, so ended up being a good call on that. So let's talk Hunter Barco, and then we'll go into the rest of what we saw here. First inning started off the game with a walk, a line out to right field that was hit pretty hard, and then Chase DeLauder hits an absolute nuke to right. I'm sorry, right field, line out to right field, and then the nuke to right center. I think it was like 428, 107 off the bat, left on left sinker. It was painted on the inside corner, but it was like belly button high, so he didn't get it low, he didn't get it up, depending on where he was trying to go. But like a belt high sinker inside corner. It was on the corner, but still, that's not necessarily a great location, and it's one you can get away with every once in a while. But Chase DeLauder hit it hard, and then he strikes out Big Christmas. Junkenzie Noel is down with Columbus right now. Strikes him out on 3 pitches. CJ Kafis on 4 pitches. I think that's the Guardians' number 5 prospect. So he ends up the 2 runs, but then gets out of the inning and all said, hey, you've got a couple strikeouts. Let's settle in. And the second inning started off a little similar. Single to left, 100 miles an hour off the bat. A line out to center. Another single to left. Both of the singles, to be noted, were hit on balls outside the zone, actually, like effective pitches. So you'll give him that a little bit, but still hard contact through the infield. And then with first and second, he gets a first pitch ground out on a low and in splitter, 70 mile an hour off the bat, except it wasn't a ground out. Derek Hall fails to make the play. Should have been at least 1 out. I'll give you that. He kind of went down to a knee to field it. He goes a little too far. It hits off the inside of his glove. But he kind of went down to a knee. So I can see you saying like, oh, that's extra effort. But like, watching it live, it's a 70 mile an hour ground ball. Make the play. The play should have been made. I would have given him an error on it. It looked like it wasn't a really difficult play for him to make. I thought that he went down to a knee because if he didn't, he was going to overrun it. I give him an error on that. Somehow he gets away with a hit, loads the bases instead of getting 1 out. Like I said, the fact that he went down to the knee means we're not getting a double play. Even with the first baseman coming off and going to his right, if he gets an out at second or throws it to the pitcher for 1, you're probably only counting on 1 out on that play. So not a double play. So you would have had 2 outs at that point, either runners on second and third or first and second. Either way, he strikes out the next guy, which was the leadoff hitter, Petey Halpin, who's another top 30 prospect, top 10 prospect for the Guardians. But he gets the strikeout there with the bases loaded. So you're thinking, all right, here we go. Same sort of thing. Let's get out of the inning. But then he starts 2-0. Gets it back to 2-2 on called strikes, goes full, and then gets the swing and miss on a 96. I'm missing something here. Swing and miss on a 96 mile per hour sinker. No, this is right. Sorry. I got my notes here and I'm thinking, well, that would have ended the inning, but it wouldn't have ended the inning because there was only 1 out at this time. So it gets the strikeout. And this is, okay, I'm sorry. This is the at-bat to Petey Halpin. boy, I'm really confusing myself here. Wish I could go back. I could, but I do these things live, even though it's not live. I don't want to go back. Let's just roll with it. Strikes out Petey Halpin. That was the at bat. So it was a good at bat. You would think he's out of it there, but then he goes 4-pitch walk to Roquillo. That scores a run. DeLauder's up now. 5-pitch walk to DeLauder. And Barco, out of frustration, challenges one of the pitches on here and loses it. So DeLauder walks on 5 pitches, scores another run, and then he gets Jhonkensy Noel to ground out to Peggy to end the inning. There. I got through the second inning there. So another strikeout, but another 2 runs walked in by Barco. So the 2 runs on the homer in the first, all in all, not a terrible inning, but not a good one. This inning, even worse. It seemed like things piled up a little bit there after the play at first. Could have been an error, and so maybe a little bit of frustration. But he gets a strikeout right after that. That's the thing. The strikeout after the home run, the strikeout after the play at first, but he was at a full count, right? And then he walks 2 guys after that, feeling like maybe he had a chance to get out of this inning. And you throw 9 pitches and have 2 walks. Not necessarily good at all. But he gets out of the inning. He's down 4-0. The offense is going to get 3 back. Ronnie Simon advances to third. This was actually interesting. There was second and third. Sac fly by Solak. And Ronnie Simon, not Solak. Yeah, Solak. Ronnie Simon gets essentially thrown out at third, which probably would have negated the run. It was very close to whether that run would have scored or not, which would have been Alika, I think. But they call Simon safe at third. He was probably out. He looked pretty out. Called safe. This would have been, if you listen to yesterday's show, he made 2 other outs between second and third the night before. So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it was like a left center fly ball. The center fielder was always going to go to third on that throw, because he was deep enough to not go home. But I don't know if I'm going to third on that. That would have been the third out if he would have done it. It wasn't. Nick York, who had walked, so it was bases loaded. Nick York, who had walked, moved up to second on the throw, and then Derek Hall hits both of those guys in after that was called safe. So now all of a sudden you have a 4-3 ball game. Barco's going back out there for the bottom of the third, steaming, by the way, just hot, mad, upset with his performance so far. The rain, you could see it in the distance. The clouds were dark. It was crazy. And he goes out there. Kafus leads off. CJ Kafus, I think he's number 5 prospect. But he's leading off against Barco. 5-pitch strikeout, really good slider, got him chasing. 4-pitch strikeout. After that, hits the next batter on the 4th pitch. A 1-2 pitch hits him kind of like inside, right off the back elbow. It looked like it was Dom Nunez, who's a catcher, also a prospect for them. Chirping a little bit as if Barco might have done it on purpose. Didn't really make sense. And then he gets Yordis Valdez to strike out on 4 pitches. Working fast, working angry. The storm came, the game was called, it's all over. But Barco was not really good early on. If you remember, if you were listening yesterday, if you didn't, go back and listen to the show. Yesterday's show, I talked about Bubba Chandler. He was all around the plate. He was very much around the plate, but not on it, right? So just nibbling around, just missing. He wasn't like pitching terribly off the plate. Hunter Barco missed several of these in the first couple innings by a good amount. And then it looked, the angle I had was not good. So some of them looked close, and I was following along on the app, and they just weren't. A lot of them weren't. They were just enough off of the plate. They were easy takes. They were easy calls for balls, and it just didn't look sharp. The third inning was a completely different player. I don't have any idea if any of these things have anything to do with anything, but I'm going to bring them up because you're there, you're watching the game, and when you look at box scores, you can read exactly what I just said to you. And you can say, "Oh yeah, all that stuff is true." I don't know, man. I'm telling you this. When he came in the dugout after the first inning, he was mad. I was sitting, I don't know, a couple of feet away from the dugout. Like, it was my seat. There was a concrete wall. There was the dugout. And so, like, I'm a couple feet away from Sean Bowman, the manager, who would have, when Barco was on the field, he's standing right here. I've got a picture of one of the kids sticking his tongue out, and it's like right behind his head is the manager. So, which, by the way, makes it very hard to like cheer for the team. Makes it hard to razz the umpire because, like, you never know. That could have been him. I was speculating at one point, and I was like, I can't even say this out loud because there's the guy right here knows exactly what's going on. I would have felt like an idiot anyway. It's a weird dynamic I never thought about. But you're standing essentially right. Like, I was closer to the manager than the rest of his coaching staff was. They were on the other side of the steps. I was closer. Anyway. He walks 3 guys. He gives up 4 hits, although, like I said, the one of them I probably would have called an error. So 6 base runners, 6 strikeouts, though. He ends with 6 strikeouts in these 3 innings. So, like, there was stuff to like. There was stuff to, say that it's not all there. He's working from behind, missing spots, clearly upset. And it was, I don't know, kind of interesting. Chase DeLauder hits the home run. I talked about him. I talk about him. I'm really impressed with him. I've seen him several times, and every single time I'm impressed with what I see from Chase DeLauder. So, you give up a home run to that guy, big deal. Listen, I also saw Tyler Glasnow at that stadium walk 9 guys a long time ago. 9 batters walked right before he was coming up. And that dude's made almost $100 million in the show. You can't make this the last impression. You can't make determinations when you're watching a kid pitch his way through the minors and just go out there on any given day just because it's the only time that you saw him pitch and the only time that I'm sitting here saying this is what he looked like. It can't be the determination of what these guys are. I saw Tyler Glasnow walk 9 guys in a game there, and then later in the same exact season, I saw him strike out 9. Maybe for Glasnow, maybe a matter of whether they were swinging or not. I also saw Quinn Priester throw like 7 innings with 1 run and a couple of hits, and then also saw him give up 7 runs in 2 innings in different games in the minor leagues. So I try to go to all these games, as many games as I can down there. I've seen several of these guys. I hadn't seen Bubba till now. I missed his game. I was playing when he pitched last year, so I didn't get to see him. And so I missed that. But I saw Harrington throw like 6 no-hit innings or 5 2/3 no-hit innings or something like that last year. There's just been a lot to see. Obviously, Skeens was called up before he ever pitched there. I saw Jones pitch in a game down there. I've seen... It's a lot of fun to go down and watch them, but you just never know what you're going to get the day that you go. I'm hoping to see Chandler again on Sunday. I don't know if I'll make it down to that game or not. I just don't know, but I'd love to. And maybe, see something a little bit different. A lot of fun going down and watching these young players, though. The offense... I guess there's a couple notes here. Jack Sawinski was in the lineup when we showed up. I never saw the guy. He was obviously in the game the night before, but Jack was not warming up. Jack was not on deck when the first inning ended. He was not in left field. So they made some changes there. Ronnie Simon was in left. He was a DH before that. And then they added the DH of DJ Stewart. I never even saw Jack in the dugout. Like I said, I was right there. I'm looking into the dugout the whole time. I could see the whole thing. Never even saw Jack. I don't know if he's on his way to Detroit to be a 27th man. I don't know why that wouldn't be a pitcher. That should be a pitcher, not a position player, I would think. But he was not there. So maybe he was sick. I don't know. Maybe anything else. But either way, he was not at that game. Interesting to note while we're on the topic, the 27th man, like I said, usually a pitcher. There's two guys of note. You hear me talk a lot about roster moves. And one of the things that we've talked about quite a bit this year, or at least a couple times, I'll say, not quite a bit, but a couple times this year, is when you option a player down, he has to be optioned. Specifically, let's talk pitching. For position players, it's 10 days. We've been down this road before. 10 days and 15 days for a pitcher. He has to be in AAA for 15 days before he's eligible to be recalled. For the 27th man in a doubleheader, that doesn't matter. He can still come up. That's only notable for Dowry Moretta and Kyle Nicholas. They've been optioned within the 15-day window. Either one of them could still be that 27th man. I don't know if it's going to be them or Hunter Stratton. I mean, obviously it has to be somebody on the 40-man roster. So them, Hunter Stratton. I'm not sure who else could it even be that's there. I guess the guy they just recently called, but I don't know that I saw that where he was optioned. No, Hunter Stratton, that's it. I guess Thomas Harrington. Let's hope that's not the case. Considering I'm hoping to see him. He was in the dugout. I think I saw Kyle Nicholas. I don't remember seeing Dowry Moretta. Hunter Stratton pitched on, I'm trying to get my days straight. Hunter Stratton pitched on Tuesday. Kyle Nicholas pitched on Tuesday, but none of them pitched today. So either one of them could be called up. Nicholas has been doing 2 innings every once in a while. He started a game, went 2 innings. He closed out the game Tuesday night. So any of those guys could be there. Billy Cook he was called up for he'll be there for the doubleheader. He was going to start last night. The MLB paternity list is 1 to 3 games. So Brian Reynolds will do 2 of them tomorrow. So he'll have the minimum. The maximum is 3, which would be Friday night's game at home. So Billy Cook will be back to AAA either Friday or Saturday. I think that pretty much sums up all of that. So today, Skubal, Skeens, same day, maybe not the same game. I tried for about 3 hours last night to talk myself into driving to Detroit. I called a ton of friends. Nobody last minute could go for a full day. No, understandably, nobody could leave for a full day to go up there. And I just ultimately thought that 6 hours in the car, I don't know, imagine about 8 hours at Comerica Park by myself in public. I don't know what that does for most of you, but, for somebody like me by myself in public for that long, probably not a great idea. Man, I don't know, maybe like a 16, 17-hour day, all said, probably just too much to go to the games. So I think I've talked myself out of going to Detroit. I had to leave early to do it. So I think I've talked myself out of that. I still haven't decided whether I'm going down to Columbus for tomorrow afternoon. Game time decision. I'm going to check the weather. We went down and saw 3 innings and there was rain, and it looks like there might be some rain tomorrow. So I'm going to wait and see, I think, and see where that goes. I have the day off. I'm just not sure what I'm going to do yet. I might go back down to Columbus and try to catch another Indianapolis game. I might just watch from home and also watch the doubleheader all day with my day off. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. You'll know Friday morning because I'll tell you what I did. I'll talk to you again on Friday. We'll leave it at that. We're going pretty good now. Look at us. Over 20 minutes again. I hope you guys are enjoying the content every day. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, click that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. If you're just listening on audio, go click subscribe on YouTube as well. You don't even have to ever watch it if you don't want to. Just click the subscribe button, please. Talk to you tomorrow. Thanks again. Let's go Bucs.
Thanks for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Subscribing to your platform of choice is the best way to be notified for new episodes. And now, new episodes every weekday. Remember, live shows with my dad and Uncle Jake are Sundays at 9 p.m. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and join them in the live chat every Sunday. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2 Buctober. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucs.